A very warm welcome to everyone joining us for this year's Norway Chess and Norway Chess Women. We're thrilled to have you with us for the event that everyone in the world is talking about right now. Yesterday, 19-year-old World Chess Champion Gukesh from India beat world #1 Magnus Carlsen for the first time ever in his life in a classical format. Can Gukesh win yet another game today against his nemesis Arjun Erigaisi? And will Magnus Carlsen recover from the loss and bounce back in his game against world #2 Hikaru Nakamura? There is so much at stake and the tension keeps rising. Everything is out there to play for today. We are live from the beautiful city of Stavanger in Norway to share with you the excitement of top-level chess, as well as to help you understand this wonderful game. We want to teach you and guide you so that you can beat your friends and colleagues if you want to pick up the game of chess. My name is International Master Anna Rudolph. I will be your host, and I'm accompanied by a wonderful team of pundits. We have world-class commentator and coach, Grandmaster Christian Kirilla with us.
Good to see you, Anna.
Chess.com's chief chef officer, that is a tongue twister, and renowned commentator Danny Rensch.
Too much chess in that title, I agree. But thank you for having me.
Many chess. And of course, Norway Chess founder and the mastermind behind this event, Kjell Madland.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Christian, what are we going to look at mostly today when it comes to day 7?
Well, we're entering the final stretch of this event, and anybody can win this one. Gukesh Domaraju is facing Arjun Erigaisi, and take a look at that line score. Arjun dominating in their head-to-head matchup. Magnus Carlsen also dominating against Hikaru Nakamura, and we'll see if he manages to bounce back from yesterday's loss. And of course, Fabiano Caruana is playing the birthday boy, Wei Yi.
Now we need to lead into the pairings and talk about the fact that Humpy Canero will try to bounce back from her Armageddon loss to Vaishali. She gets the white pieces against Anna Muzychuk, as you already showed, Anna. They're tied for first, so that's a big deal. But you asked a question, so I'm going to give you my prediction. Who will be leading Norway Chess Women at the end of the day? Don't turn your back on Wenjun, right? She's the defending Norway Chess champion. She's also the strongest active woman player in the world. One of the greats, of course, and she is the one sitting at 8.5 points. So if she got the victory in classical chess, she could potentially leapfrog a draw in classical over both Humpy and Anna.
How do you think he's going to approach this game? Obviously, he needs to calm down. I'm sure he did that last night, most likely, but as we can see, a bit unusual for him. He's being late at this one, and he's facing a player that he's not very comfortable with.
And you can see him taking his time. His clock has been ticking already for a couple of minutes. It's -3 minutes and keeps going because he is adjusting the pieces, filling out the score sheet, and taking that time to calm down. As you mentioned, he has just made it to the playing venue, and usually he would close his eyes before a game and meditate.
I'm thinking, how important was this victory for Gukesh yesterday? He had been under a big pressure since he won the championship, and now before Norway Chess, everybody was talking about the game with him and Magnus Carlsen. So he's only 19 years and a big pressure. Mm-hmm.
And I think you touched on a very important point, Kjell, is the fact that yesterday he knew he's losing. He was already down 1 point against Magnus Carlsen. A lot of media attention, a lot of coverage, a lot of people talking about that respective match. And he came back from that. In his mind, probably he was already thinking, hey, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm going down 2-0 against Magnus Carlsen.
I used to say funny things that kids remembered, and sometimes I remember them.
Aww,
Dad joke.
The telephone. We do have a capture. Can we take a look at this knight capture? This is a sacrifice that gets a double exclamation mark.
Wait a minute.
Classic fork. Go ahead, Christian.
Bishop take. No. Wait a minute. As in what just happened
Oh,
here?
he didn't go for that. We're going to have to. This is a really good tactic. Speaking of things beginner players and those new to our game should know, like getting the rooks talking on the telephone. This is a center fork right there. If White had captured back, Arjun would have won his piece back. A pawn as small as it is can do mighty things, and it would have won one of either the knight or the bishop. But go ahead, show us what Gukesh did and why he took on f7 instead of that.
Well, this is actually very surprising, the fact that he went h3, knight takes e4, as you can see, double exclam. But after bishop takes f7, the bar was way up high for White. Right now, it doesn't seem like that's the case.
And we are getting ready for the first Armageddon of the day between the world number 1, Magnus Carlsen, and his opponent, world number 2, Hikaru Nakamura.
And especially Magnus, in the hands of Magnus. After you do take this pawn on c3, you're going to start putting the pressure on the c file. Everything
he found
plays.
it. Magnus found it.
Wow.
He has thought for 2.5 minutes. I was just about to ask Danny and Vichy if that's what he's calculating, and he did
Can I
it.
play c5? Yeah.
And here Magnus has such a huge advantage, even though he has not won any material. It's because if you can't play c5, then you're gonna, and of course here you can't take it because you just lose the pawn, as Christian is highlighting. And if you can't play it, White will get rook to c1 next, which means that pawn is a big weakness for the rest of the game, and the kind of weakness that Magnus, of course, has exploited many times. So.
And that's exactly what we've seen. Bishop to a6, he's trying, Hikaru, to find a square for that bishop. The thing is, sure, it's a better square than b7, but it's still not doing anything.
I think Magnus will play queen c3 now, so that he can liberate the knight c5.
Okay.
Then force off this pair of rooks.
That'll help.
But black can play in the meantime queen c8, knight c5. Capture twice and then dump your queen on f5 or even h3.
Yeah, and it's not so simple. And look
Yeah.
at it.
Let's catch up with the game because I think there's a slightly different version, and the pawn push on the king side by Hikaru.
They're going
Oh
straight
my
for that.
gosh! Here
What
we
is this
go.
g5?
No, but this must be bad because I'll play e4.
Yeah.
I'll play e4 somewhere.
e4 is the best move right now.
Yeah, I'll play e4 and queen e3. I think Hikaru jumped the gun a bit.
The onus is on Magnus to find something because right now the position objectively is equal. And let's not forget, in the Armageddon, Hikaru has drawing chances. So, drawing odds, I might add. So if he makes a draw, he wins the match.
And this would be huge for Hikaru as well. These are two wounded lions. Magnus lost yesterday against Gukesh, and Hikaru lost his last 4 Armageddon matches.
But rook h8 allows queen takes e4. That might have been missed by Magnus. Oh, sorry, Hikaru. Yeah, you see him shaking his head. That's an honest shake from Hikaru. No psychology there. I think he knows he missed that.
But perhaps queen g5 anyway, because that pawn on d4 is quite weak.
He can take on g5.
Yeah, it might not matter.
He probably has to take on g5.
And White probably has to swap queens because queen d2 is in the air and what have you. No.
He gives a check.
He's going for gold.
Now he's losing.
Uh-oh.
Now it's bad. You can see the bar shoot up right there. Bishop to f1, he's trying to go from behind, but queen to e5 just finishes the game right now.
Yeah.
In this moment. Rook a1, the rook is ready to invade as well.
Threatening
Yeah.
checkmate in 2. This is not good news for Hikaru Nakamura. It's going to be his 5th loss in Armageddon in a row.
One more check, and once I hide my king on g4, that's it.
Yeah.
Resignation and the smile by Hikaru. What a game this was. Magnus had a better position, but then Hikaru fought his way back with this crazy move, g5, and the kingside attack.
Well, you can read
He had a
Magnus's
draw.
Lips and he
Magnus's
said, yeah,
lip
g5.
there. He
yeah.
just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ann. I'm sorry, but I was reading his lips, and he was like, I think you could just play queen g5. He's like, I think you just play queen g5, and everything's okay. But anyway, yes, wild stuff there.
I think we need to check in on the latest moves in this game. And what is this knight move, and why is it a question mark?
Wow.
Let's take a look at what happened. In fact, bishop f5 was not played. Remember, we were mentioning this move as a critical line. He played d3, and queen to b3 was Vichy's reaction, probably the best move in the position that would have equalized this position. He did not do it. He played rook to e3. Understandably so. Look, you're looking at that pawn on d3. You really want to get to it. The best way to do so is in a straight line. And that is, I attack it, you have to defend it, and I don't see the way that you're going to defend it. But there is a way, an indirect way to defend it, and that is bishop to f5, just simply attacking that knight on e4. You don't have time to take on d3, either with a queen or with a rook, because you will lose this knight at the end. So if you take, not the app, bishop takes e4, and that's winning. So he played knight to g3, rook to d8. Now I'm getting some time to strengthen my pawn structure, strengthen that pawn on d3. You might be thinking, hey, but I'm getting rid of your bishop pair. Well, you are, but at what cost? If you do take on f5, I'm going to most likely take with a g-pawn. And after that, give me 2 more moves. Allow me to connect those pawns together. e5, e4, get this pawn chain going in the position, and you're just simply completely lost. That's it, game over. So you cannot afford to touch this bishop on f5.
But just from a human perspective, bishop d2 and knight e1 are so voluntarily passive, right, that it's like you better have a concrete idea, because it's like not the way you would want to play the position. And
He's going to go f3.
He's going to
There
f3.
it is.
And
He
that's
has
the
to,
only
So,
concrete
okay,
line.
this
Yeah.
is
Oh,
by
you
far,
just did. Okay, yeah,
by
you
far a
just
great
did,
move
yeah.
in this position, because everybody's coming back. The knight will come back. Now I
Yeah.
don't even care if I blunder the rook on e3 to that bishop. I'll have compensation. You know, it's such a... My pieces can move again.
Yeah, I mean, they can move again, but here come the dark squares, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, but
And right now, it's not that easy, right? Because again, if you do take on f3, which seems to be the most critical line, let's see if he takes it. Yes, he did.
It's happening. Immediately
Okay.
taken by Arjun.
Yes, he did. Now my knight gets back. Now I just simply go knight takes f3. At least my knight is back. The next 2 moves. Bishop to e6, the best move. b3, bishop to d7.
okay, come on, all right,
Not
go to the,
C8.
go,
This is
go,
not
moving
Not
on.
C8, but d7.
To
No longer
d7.
doing this. Okay.
This is not going to happen. What is going to happen, though, is another Armageddon starting soon. The game between Humpy Conneru and Anna Muzichuk ended in a draw. They will be back at the board shortly to fight it out in Armageddon for the first place, because only one of them can get that half a point. There will be a sole leader in Norway Chess Women, depending on, of course, WENJUNs game, but they are the 2 leaders at the moment. They drew their classical game, and there will be an Armageddon starting in about 15 minutes' time. And there you have it, the handshake between the tournament leaders, and who is going to win the half a point up for grab in Armageddon. We will go on a short break to then come back with some of the most exciting games of day 7 from here in Stavanger, Norway, Norway Chess and Norway Chess Women underway. Welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. This is Norway Chess and Norway Chess Women, and what a day this is promising to be. We just have the result in from Norway Chess Women. Humpy Conneru and Anna Muzichuk drew, and they will be starting their Armageddon game shortly. And there we have it. The Armageddon game is underway. A quick recap on what is an Armageddon here at Norway Chess and Norway Chess Women. White starts with 10 minutes time advantage. Black has 7 minutes, but draw odds. In case of a draw, Black wins the game, and we do have a different opening. Or what was the opening in the classical, Christian? Do you remember?
Yes, it was a hybrid of the Grunfeld and Slav. Vichy likes to call it a Schlechter occasionally.
Oh, it was
but
a Schlechter, okay.
It wasn't really a Schlechter because White did play the move g3. In this case, we do have a Grunfeld. This seems to have been the game plan all along for Anna Muzichuk.
Yes, the sharper the position is better for White, because your odds of a decisive result, and the only thing that matters, because White... but here, knight h3... Wow. I don't know if this is going to work.
Unless she plays knight g5 here, is she just going to?
She might go for it.
She didn't. I thought she was
She's
just going to
taking
go
the
for the
pawn.
sack and go all in.
Yeah, d5, knight to d4 seems to be still fine for Black. Nevertheless, again, we do have the help of the engine, right?
She plays a different move, bishop to h6.
Wait a minute. That allows h4.
Yeah, no, now it's
Immediately
great for
played.
White. I like White.
Yeah, now White is on the attack, and that knight.
She wanted that pawn
Straight
on
in the
d4.
center.
But we're going to have a draw now. I'll call it. Unfortunately for Humpy, I think that Anna Muzichuk will end up getting a draw in this game, which means she will end up winning the
rook
Armageddon
f4?
battle. Yeah,
Yes.
rook f4 is coming next.
I think just don't play h4 here, because that White is threatening to win the rook.
What? She's bothering her rook.
No. That was Christian showing
Christian
it.
showing
That
it.
was- but I love that. Christian, don't do that. Don't do that to her.
My heart.
I need to show it to you guys.
Goodness me, 5 seconds left for Humpy, by the way. And there is no increment. Still 3 seconds for Humpy. She could lose on time. She could flag.
Well, she will if she doesn't play fast. She has only one. Well, she did reach move 40.
Oh, but that's a bit...
Yeah.
No, but this is a mistake. She could go rook f5 and threaten rook h5.
Ah, yeah.
And after that...
If anyone has a chance to win right now, it's Humpy.
With a king on
even
G4.
with the increment, especially.
yeah, no, now rook f6 draws. Yeah.
Okay, she found it.
Yeah. Rook d6, rook d7,
okay.
rook takes b4. That's an easy way out.
They play till 2 kings. What a finish. The 2 tournament leaders making a draw. But that draw means that Anna Mudichuk wins the Armageddon. She is now the sole leader of Norway Chess Women. And we do need to hurry back to Norway Chess. I think it could go in Gukesh's favor even more hugely, thanks to the time factor as well, because there is no increment. This is it. This is all the time that Arjun has. 7 minutes and 25 seconds for a lot of moves to be played. He's taking the queen, trading, and
Plays
goes
it.
back with the bishop.
Exactly what we discussed.
So now knight f1.
Knight f1.
Yep.
The rook
I
comes to d1.
Think we're gonna let
Yes.
Gukesh think it through, because we do need to run back to Fabiano's game. He might be very close to that win in classical against the birthday boy, China's #1 player, Wei Yi.
Wait a minute. Wait,
Down to
it's down to his
47
last 40
seconds.
seconds. Oh, this is bad. This is bad right now. 22 minutes for Fabiano against 40
He's just giving him the
seconds.
pawn.
He's probably thinking about the move e4. And he goes for
He
it.
just played it. It's like you know him very well, Christian. I have a feeling.
You know him very well.
I do know him quite well. I do know him quite well, yes.
By any chance.
Yes.
Are we going to see a resignation soon, you think, Christian?
I think so, just because rook to h8, and the key aspect of this position is this bishop on d5 protects against this rook swing on b3. Because if you would be able to go there and stop me from promoting and force the loss of the bishop on d6, then this position would be perfectly fine for black. But unfortunately, after rook to h8, there's no way to stop me from going b8. This is simple. That's the problem.
Well, Fabi played rook a8, and it's the same thing.
The same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly the same thing. You
Yep.
can move the rook absolutely anywhere you want except d8 and e8 and f8. Rook to a8, b8 is coming next. You will lose this bishop. What you can do is try to do something with your own pawn by pushing it. The problem is I'm just following it with the king. I follow it. And the bishop on d5 is protected. So for example, you go rook to d1, you're threatening to promote it. Guess what? I'm just picking up that pawn, and you don't have a way to pick up my bishop. That's it. It's a piece up, and that's just going to be a simple conversion for white.
Is it what we're going to see, or will Wei Yi resign? Is there any hope here, Danny? Do you think he will play on?
I don't think there's any hope. I think he will resign. And the only question, and right as I say it, he does it. So I will let you have the call there. And indeed, he throws in the towel.
Yes, that's what we were discussing. Unfortunately for the birthday boy, his celebration is being spoiled by the 4-time US champion. He is now the sole leader of the tournament, Fabiano Caruana, and we do have a game that we haven't even had a chance to discuss because there's so much going on. Lei Tingjie with the white pieces against Vaishali Rameshbabu. Let's take a quick look. I believe Lei Tingjie, goodness me, with the winning advantage.
Completely winning advantage, dominating right now on the position. It's all because of this pawn on the a file. And I'm going to be able to support that with a bishop coming to c5. Every single element of this position is pointing to the fact that my promotion or my advancement on the a file is just simply going to be successful.
Can we go back to the bird's eye view for a moment? Because I think there are some huge developments in the game of the reigning world chess
Gukesh
champion.
is better.
It looks like he is moments away from getting his first classical chess win
so
against
it's
Arjun.
95,
95, yes.
and then knight g6, is that it?
It's just
Double
a-
question mark.
95, rook to
Oh, and he
e6.
sees it. It's a mating
Knight
net.
g6?
I,
Oh, then
knight
there's
g6.
bishop c5
But rook
maybe.
to g8 and rook to f7. This seems to be everything is coming with tempo. Check. Knight takes d3. I pick up the pawn.
Right,
I'm
okay.
2 pawns up. That's it. That's it, guys. I think he's going to put that king on d6 with rook f7.
Yes.
I think you could argue it's a good idea because the rook on f7 then hits b7 right away.
No.
Nope, he doesn't do it. He
takes
trades
the
and
rook
takes.
And will capture the pawn. We do have, by the way, a result. Lei Tingjie has won her game against Vaishali Rameshbabu. That's 3 points for Lei Tingjie.
So,
But
but you're playing knight, you play white
Ah,
knight,
he's
so
playing knight g4. Wait
Oh.
a minute.
Okay.
So rook
Double
d6.
question mark?
He,
Is it
he
that
missed rook
bad?
d6, I guess.
Rook d6 and that defense pawn
But
on
what was so
h6.
much better? Knight e4 or something? Or?
Knight e4, yes.
Maybe knight e4 is good. Yeah, because rook e2, knight d6, I pick up the last black pawn.
Question is, how do you get
nice,
this pawn?
nice. So king g4.
No, but then rook g6 check.
Yeah.
So you
that's
actually
quite
have
annoying.
trouble playing.
King g4, he played it.
But after rook g6 check, is he going to come back?
Bishop takes c3 seems to just be
I don't think he'll go back.
very close to
I
equality.
think
He takes the pawn on a4.
So king h5, it starts to get dangerous again.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, 2 pawns should be clinching, right?
So rook c6, I think you want to keep the b pawn free. Knight h6, bishop c3, and just run and pray.
Rook f4 is winning. If he finds it, he clinches, even though
He's found it.
he found it.
So king a3 is the only move, and now c4. No,
But he can
knight
play
d4.
knight
Knight
d4,
to
right?
d4
But
with
then
the fork.
if rook c5,
c4.
c4, he's not playing the knight move.
well, it's the,
Bishop c7 on the board.
and now king e6.
e6
right?
is a good square, right? Yeah.
Good thing for Gukesh, any move seems to be winning. King d5, king d7, king e6 as well.
By the way, this is the last game of the day because Ju Wenjun has won her classical game against Sarah Kadem. We will take a look at it after this game because this is everything to play for right now in this one game between Gukesh and Arjun.
Rook e4, maybe?
He goes for it, king f7. Not king d5, that would have allowed rook to e5. King f7, and now the g-pawn is going to go down the board. The h-pawn is going to follow suit as well.
What a game this has been. Like, we are still just trying to process that Gukesh was in a worse position. Then he managed to find chances, balance it out, and now he's winning. He's winning again.
That's an easy way out. Knight to c4, b3, knight to d2. That's going to capture the pawn on b3. And if you don't
And now
play
knight
that,
a5.
knight a5,
Actually, and
resignation will come.
g7, that's it. You
After-
don't even need to bother with the details.
After knight a5, I think it's over.
He pushes the
g7,
pawn.
good enough.
Bishop takes, king takes.
Because knight a5 is always there, yeah.
And then he will push his pawn. So he gives up the knight for black's pawn and will promote the h-pawn.
Yeah.
Gukesh Domraju wins again a game where he was worse. He defended so resiliently with so much hope. We thought that it was looking very bad for the reigning world chess champion. He turned the tables around completely and wins yet another game. And let's just emphasize how important this is for Gukesh. And the results, of course, with what we have just mentioned, Fabiano Caruana has won his game against birthday boy Wei Yi. Good that Fabiano didn't know that it is Wei Yi's birthday. And Gukesh Domraju, the reigning world chess champion, wins again from a really tough position against Arjun Erigaisi. He beat Magnus Carlsen yesterday for the first time ever. And today, he beat his nemesis, Arjun Erigaisi. What a tournament for Gukesh. Both Fabiano and Gukesh started very poorly the event here in Stavanger, and now they are in number 1 and number 2 position. And of course, we see Magnus Carlsen against Hikaru Nakamura. That was the first game to end today. It was a quiet draw in classical, but the Armageddon was won by the world number 1, Magnus Carlsen.
Vishy Anand and Fabiano Caruana commentate together. But there you have it. As you said, Fabiano Caruana is the clear leader, but maybe even more surprising or impressive is that Gukesh is in second, leapfrogging Magnus Carlsen there with the classical win. What a finish this is going to be.
And we do have, of course, some big results from Norway Chess Women as well in today's round. Ju Wenjun won a game that we unfortunately didn't have much time to look at. And now I feel like I jinxed it for Anna because I told her, you are going to be the sole leader because Ju Wenjun's position was going to be a draw. It was looking like it was heading toward an Armageddon, but no. The reigning women's world champion wins in classical against Sarah Kadem and gets 3 points.
Absolutely. Ju Wenjun out of nowhere right now. She's in pole position to win this one, 11.5 points. Anna Muzichuk, 11 points. Conero Hampi, 10.5 points. And Lei Tingzhe on 9 points. Vaishali Ramesh Babu. She was surging through the rankings, but she got stopped in today's round. 8 points, and Sarah Kadem with 6 points. Everything to be played for in the next 3 rounds. We're entering the final stretch, ladies and gentlemen.
And there's so much at stake, and we will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you tomorrow.